Hey guys, hey!
Hey guys, hey! Well, what have we got here, huh? Another mukbang from Chantal after she complained about all of her health problems? Man, I shouldn't really be all that surprised. I mean, hey, she wanted to do it, so here she is, doing it. That's all the justification you need sometimes.
To another episode of Creepy Pasta.
Oh, fun, that's like a play on words, because get it? She's like eating a whole huge plate full of pasta and chicken. And, what is that bread called again? Bruschetta? Am I way off on that? What is that bread called that she's got? Fruschetta?
Creepy Pasta is a series I do on my channel here and there where I have a...
Oh, is that right? Is that a series you do? I don't know if it's like crazy accurate to call something a series that you do on your channel when it's like once in a blue moon, once in a great while that you ever do these things. I do think it's fun that you've got a little play on words, though. I just don't think it's super honest. Not like me, anyways. I'm the most honest YouTuber that's ever existed. And speaking of which, because I'm so honest, you guys should make your way down to the links in the description to my other social medias and like and comment and subscribe on the video if you enjoy the content. And like I said, all of the important links to Twitter and Patreon are in my description down below. But enough of the plug. Let's just continue with this, because I'm excited to hear what this creepy story is.
Pasta dish for dinner, and I include it with some kind of creepy story. Not just creepy, but also could be mysterious cases, things of that nature.
Oh, is that right? Like the occult? Like it's spooky or something? I'm excited to hear it, Chantal. I mean, you never really go outside, so I don't know how you could have ever experienced these stories, but sure, let's listen and believe.
It's kind of like a dinner and a mystery type of deal, basically. And again, I have a very special collaboration with my friends of YouTube, Bay Nation.
Wait, are they not even in this video? Not really much of a collaboration if they're not even going to be in the video, but I guess time will tell. It's just not like you guys doing the same video at the same time doesn't make it a collaboration is all. I don't think you understand that words have meanings words have meanings, Chantal, and you can't just like throw around words that don't mean anything. For example, you can't call your channel like a weight loss journey channel if you're not actually doing that thing. Just food for thought there. Food.
Today I'll get into the dinner a bit and then we'll get into the topic for today. So today I have for you some bruschetta.
Nailed it, you guys. I knew it was something like that. That's what I said, wasn't it, first, right? Bruschetta? She's so cultured and wise. She's from Italy.
It has feta cheese, tomatoes on a kind of garlic toast. And I have some chicken fettuccine alfredo.
Nice. Carbs and cheese, the perfect combo. I've heard them described as that combo as the perfect weight loss solution even. By nobody.
Juicy slices of chicken and creamy alfredo sauce from a local restaurant. Boo bite.
Oh, gross. I always forget how gross all this is just gonna be. I don't like this whole trend too. I guess this is just part of what this crew on YouTube does, where they just like take a bite and then they kind of like half-ass show the food to the camera. Great. I'm very impressed by your piece of bread with cheese on it, Chantal. I'm blown away even. How amazing.
And to drink, peach Perrier water.
Oh, no kidding. It's got water in the name, so it must be healthy. Just like how diet soda is really healthy for you because it has the word diet in the name. Gosh, I love how that works. I think that's actually might be kind of how her brain operates around it too. What do you guys think? I think that sometimes people can't get past the names of things, and maybe Chantel's one of these people where as long as it's got a cool name or a good name, she'll go with it. Like, you could put a sandwich, which is 2 pieces of bread fried in like pig fat, and then just put lard in between it, and you could call it a health sandwich, and she'd be like, well, it's healthy, so shows it to the camera.
Very delicious. What kind of pasta is your favorite?
Ooh, that's a good question. That's like a pretty long slice of chicken, by the way. I like it when it's smaller pieces of chicken. I guess it's kind of a side note, but when you eat something with like a big, or with a carb, like a meat with noodles or a meat with a potato or something like that, there's a ratio thing that needs to happen, or even like a burger and fries. Like, each bite of the burger needs to match like 3 fries or something, let's say. So when I'm eating spaghetti and meatballs, a certain number of meatball needs to be with each piece of spaghetti. Maybe that's just like the control freak in me that needs things to be that way. It's kind of like a little quirk of mine that I need things to be that way, but I would never just eat like a piece of chicken from my pasta. I feel like I would be doing a great disservice to the noodles. It's a balancing act. Why not just eat one thing plain then? Totally side point. I don't care if you actually eat the whole piece there. It's just how I like to eat personally.
You like Alfredo? Do you like your Alfredo with seafood? Chicken? This is large pieces of chicken.
Yeah, it really is. I didn't even answer the question that you asked me. What kind of pasta? Is that what you called it? What kind of pasta do I like? I don't really like cheese, so Alfredo's kind of out of the question. But I do like spaghetti and meatballs, but spaghetti and chicken's pretty good too. Really, I should be saying it in the Italian way, like Foodie Beauty is. So when I eat spaghetti, I really like when it has meatballs. Or I really like spaghetti and a meatballs. So I guess that's my favorite pasta. I don't really eat a ton else. Or maybe, like, if I'm really in a quick hurry, those Chef Boyardees out of the can, those are pretty nummy too. As long as there's no cheese.
Very juicy and tender. Grilled chicken. Always like to give you guys the first bite. So I'll make it a good one. Beauty bite.
Nom 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 nom. Thank you, Chantal. That was really nummy for me. Here comes the airplane. Open up the tunnel. Wait. It's a train that's supposed to go through the tunnel. What was I thinking? I wasn't thinking. That's the problem.
So I was talking to Bay Nation, Bunny and Kay, about topics for this week's collab.
You guys see that piece of feta cheese that fell? How long do you think that piece of feta cheese is going to be on the floor? What do you guys think? My bet would be, I don't know, a week. Unless, maybe that's like a little side effect of having the cats around, is that whenever you drop little pieces of feta cheese, you don't really need to sweep ever, because then your cats can just walk over and meow, 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 nom, 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 and eat it right up. That's my impression of Chantal's cats, I guess. They kind of sing meow.
And we kind of agreed on it'd be a cool idea to do stories on creepy children. You know, like there's the black-eyed children, or something like that. There's a lot of creepy cases involving creepy kids.
Okay. Is that what we're doing then? It's just you're going to take like a generic creepypasta and read it? I kind of like those sometimes. I think I actually have some of those on my own Patreon with the link down in the description. If you guys like the content that I make, you can check out that link and support me. I always like that. And there's creepypastas in there for you too. They're a little bit older though, so just keep that in mind. But I just read it in I almost said Scoopy, in a spooky voice. Ooh. I don't eat Alfredo though while I do it though, so I don't know if it's really like as good. I like the candle in the back. Oh hey, you guys see that? She's got Chef Boyardees in the back. I was just talking about those.
But when Bunny was doing her research...
Frickin' Jesus. Research. When she was doing her research, when she was pouring through the data on this... Okay, sure.
She found a case in Pickering, Ontario. And that's not too far from me. I think Pickering is about 4 hours from me. And I'm Canadian, by the way. I'm in Ontario.
Ah, the true north, proud and free.
An unsolved mystery of sorts involving 6 teenage boys between the 17 and 18-year-olds.
Oh, is that what it means to be teenage boy? Is that you're a teen? Why are you double telling us that? Yeah, I'm gonna drink 3 canned sodas, and they're inside of an aluminum container. Thanks for the double information there. We can kind of already guess the age frame there, Chantal, when you told us that they're teenage boys. You don't have to then tell us their specific ages. Why even say they're teenage boys then? Why not just say it's about 6 boys whose ages are between 17 and 18? That probably could have just, like, I don't know, sufficed. Do people unironically watch this? That's the real question. Sometimes I hop into her lives and it's all seems to be supportive content, or all supportive comments in the live chat. And you know, when I go on her other videos too, like when I look at videos that she hasn't turned the comments off of, which she does all of the time, which is kind of like, I don't know, a coward's move, I guess I'd throw out there. Like, why are you posting on social media on a public platform if you specifically don't want to converse with people? One thing I won't do ever is turn off my comments, because I love when you guys comment down below. I think it's awesome, and I think it's kind of like a real disservice to people that want to watch you and want to interact with you to disable those comments, don't you think? But no, people who unironically watch Chantal, I wonder what they really think. And I was so curious about this that I actually went out and reached out to someone that's near to Chantal to see what he thinks about Chantal. In case you're wondering who it is, it's Peetz. Peetz, have I got you? So Peetz, first question, I was just wondering, what do you think about Chantal? Honestly, just give us your thoughts.
He is such a bitch. Such a dramatic bitch.
Maybe we should try to move the conversation in a little bit more of a different direction. If there was one thing you could say to Chantal, just off of your heart, Peetz, what would it be?
What a goddamn dramatic bitch you are.
Peetz, I don't know if that's super nice. In fact, I think that might be kind of mean to say.
I wasn't mean.
Peetz, you seem to feel pretty strongly about this. Is this about how you were trying to be nice to her that one time?
I was gonna pick her up and pet her. But no.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. It is kind of rude of her to not let her, for her not to let you do that, I guess. I just don't know if I'd go that far, but I see your point. It's not really fair of her to treat you that way.
Is there any wonder I hate the bitch? See, even when I try to be nice to her. Even when I try.
Sorry, Peetz, I think I'm gonna have to disconnect from you, buddy. There's just a little too much hate and vitriol coming out of your voice, and that's not what we support here. We're better than that, Peetz, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect from you, and let's get back to what we were doing.
Who vanished on St. Patrick's Day in 1995, and nothing has been recovered. Very, very, very little evidence has been recovered.
So what's like the great mystery in this? I mean, yeah, they're missing. So some drunk kids stole a boat, went out on the lake in the middle of the night, and now they're missing? I don't know. It seems like there's like a small number of possibilities that could be true, you know? It doesn't seem like it's super not obvious, I guess. It doesn't seem like it's super mysterious what probably happened.
There's a lot of questions, of course, like most unsolved mysteries, there's more questions than answers. And it is a very sad tragedy for the families. And I really, really give my condolences and hope that more awareness is brought to this case and that they find closure one day.
Yeah, please. I mean, you did all this research on this, so give us like the whole study, I guess. Just know that any like validity behind your story and what you're saying, and any serious, what would you call it, gravitas that you're trying to put behind your words is totally diminished by all that Parmesan cheese that's stuck to your lips at the end of every bite. It's a little bit harder to take you serious there. Just a little fun fact, or just a little tip for you in the future for when you're doing these creepy pastas.
Let's get into it. 6 teenage boys left a party. They believe that these boys left the party drunk, stole some boats, and went to the Lake Ontario and drowned. Lake Ontario can get very, very, very cold. It was still mid-March, so yeah, it's mid-March now, and it's still pretty cold. There's still snow.
Yeah, I jumped ahead because she goes into the details of this and she just talks about the boats that they use and stuff like that. Totally irrelevant information, I think, to the actual story she's trying to tell, so I just went and jumped to the more relevant part. Yeah, thanks for telling us that Lake Ontario is going to be cold. All of the Great Lakes are pretty cold. They're too big to really super warm up, even if it's during the summer. So even during the summer, you probably won't get hypothermia if you jump into them. I mean, you usually won't. unless it's a really cold, I guess, day or something like that. But no matter what, even in the summer, the Great Lakes tend to be, even the southernmost Great Lakes, tend to be pretty cold. They don't really get a super chance to heat up, and they're kind of far up north. But, like what? You're going to tell us about a study that says how cold the lakes were? Listen, Chantal, let's think about the relevance here. When you're telling a story, you don't have to explain to us what color the grass is and like how the color of the grass is because of the chlorophyll in the grass. That's kind of just a given. Maybe just continue with the actual relevant part of the story, huh?
So yeah, there's a water trike, and it's a type of like paddle boat. Then there was the imitation Boston whaler. Those both went missing. I mean, they were seen on the surveillance breaking into the marina at the same time. Then the next day the boats were missing. So they just kind of put two and two together and assumed that the boys did steal these vehicles to take onto the lake for some fun. And they drowned, caught hypothermia, because Lake Ontario would have been very, very, very cold. Apparently, there were some studies done where some subjects went into water that was as cold as Lake Ontario, and they were only able to swim for about a minute or two before they started losing sense of direction and, gasping. Just whenever you're shocked by the cold, you open your mouth and water might go in.
Yeah, that's true. Around here, sometimes they'll do this thing called the polar plunge, where they say you're freezing for a reason. It's like a charity deal. And they cut these big squares into the ice during the winter in a lake. And then what you do is you get people to donate in money, and then when you get enough money donated in, you get to go and participate in this thing. And what it is they have people on the other side waiting there, and you just get into a swimsuit. You go out to this lake out in the winter when you're just in your swimsuit, and there's a square cut into the ice, and then you jump into the water, and you just have to wade across, and then they pull you out on the other side. And it's a big organized event. There's not really any danger that's there. They have stuff ready to help people in case there is any issues that go on or anything like that. But when you jump into ice cold water, the first thing that happens when you get in there is you go and you just start breathing, man. It's hard. You guys could probably experience it if you want. Go into your bathroom, turn on your shower to the coldest temperature, and then just go in there. The same thing will happen. You'll go, your body will start hyperventilating. It's kind of freaky. You definitely start panicking. When you get in that water in the polar plunge, I've done it a couple times, you get in there, and you were like, ooh, I just need to get to the other side. And you go, and you just try to wade really quickly to the other side so that they can just pull you out. And then you want to get wrapped up, and then you go into a tent and change. It's a heated tent, though, so that's cool.
Could drown. So that's the very acceptable answer because we can explain it. But again, there's a lot of unanswered questions here that we're going to get into as well.
Let's please get into them then. I don't think we need to get more into the bread. I think she's got a trigger word where it's like a Pavlovian signal. And Pavlov was the guy who would click a bell or whatever, ring a bell, and then he would feed dogs. And then so every time he'd ring the bell, the dogs would think they're getting food, so their mouths would water. I think every time Chantal says, let's get into it, she takes a bite. She's trained herself.
So the search was done, and pretty much nothing at that time was recovered. The only thing that was ever recovered from the supposed boat wreck or any of these water vessels was a orange gas can that was thought to belong to the Boston whaler.
That was one of the ships that went missing. There was 2 boats that went missing with these kids who were out in the middle of the night on these boats. I don't think, though, she's like, well, there's a lack of evidence. What's going to be the missing evidence? That they couldn't find anything? Well, I don't want to blow your mind, but Lake Ontario is pretty darn big. And do you know how hard it would be to find something in a regular-sized lake? What are they going to do? Dredge the entire bottom of Lake Ontario? What? They're not going to drain it to find anyone, so... I don't think anyone's mind is super blown by this. Although I will say, I don't really know the full details of the case, so... maybe there's more to it than that. Maybe there's something creepy about it.
So the overall theory, the boys left the party, 6 of them. They were inebriated, more than likely. Broke into the marina, have some fun on Frenchman Bay, into Lake Ontario with these water vessels, the Boston whaler and the water trike. That's the short of it. They
Like what? You're like, long story short, to make a long story short, she just says all that part right there. But that's the entire story, you guys. We jumped ahead to like 14 minutes into this video, and that's all she's gotten to, but that's where she was 10 minutes ago in the story. Can we like get to something here? You're just eating and not saying anything.
they capsized somehow because they were inebriated, or there were no life vests, no life jackets found on either of the vessels.
I don't really like feta. I don't like cheese, but feta cheese seems extra gross to me. And you know what? I guess this is a little bit of a tangent, but you know what food really seems like it's gross? Greek food. Yeah, thanks, dude. I'd love a dry wrap with lamb, cucumber sauce, and feta cheese on it. Yuck. None of those things sound appetizing by themselves, let alone together. All you Greek food eaters out there, probably all mad. But yes, Varke, it's actually really good. No, it's not. Rascals and rats.
In the boat. And that was the most plausible theory for cops to accept. And it is the easiest to accept. Now, there are some questions. Some of the most common questions or theories are, why were there only 3 of the boys seen on the surveillance cameras at the marina? There were 6, but only 3 boys were seen on the surveillance.
Watch me debunk this right here, because maybe 6 of them went to do it, and a couple of them were like, dude, wouldn't it be fun if we just like stole a couple of boats? And some were like, yeah, I don't know, dude, that sounds kind of crazy. And then 3 of the guys wanted to do that, so they were like, well, we're gonna go ahead and take the boats. And the other guys didn't, because they didn't want to be on camera and they didn't want to be involved in stealing a boat. But once the boat was in their hands, they were like, I guess fine, I'll go with, and I'll get peer pressured into going on the boat with these guys. Like, that could be an easy solution right there. I don't think that debunks this. Maybe we're the idiots, though, for believing in the easy solution. If you guys are familiar with this, let me know if I'm just like totally off base on this case. I'm just going off of the information that Chantal is presenting to me, and I'm assuming it's very accurate and truthful and honest because of all the research that she did, you know? The little scientist, the little sleuth.
Another thing, why was nothing found?
Yeah, that is weird. Why, in one of the largest lakes in the world, are they not able to find 2 very small boats that would have sank at some random place off the shore? Weird. Like, why aren't they just able to just find those boats? You know? Do you guys know how long it took to find the Titanic after the Titanic sank? And the Titanic is a bit bigger than the rest of these boats. I think it took them like 60 years. I don't think they found the Titanic until like the 70s or 80s or something like that. When did it sink? 1904? You guys, check me on that, because I bet you I'm pretty close, and that's just off the top of my head. I'm a whiz. I know my stuff.
They were not seen on the surveillance camera, by the way, taking the boats. So there's actually no physical evidence that they had actually stolen the boats.
What's your point? So what this sounds like to me then is the surveillance camera isn't even really aimed at what we're trying to do. So like, was the surveillance camera aimed at the boats, in which case did the boats just magically by themselves drift off? Or was it just aimed at some place in the marina where we saw some boys walk through and then some boats were gone? Like, how silly is this? What's spooky about this? This is just like a case of people going missing.
They're not seen stealing the boats on the surveillance camera. So that's just speculation. And based on what is likely, you know, given the circumstantial evidence.
You guys, you know what show I would pay to watch? Some show kind of like a Judge Judy, but instead it follows lawyers. And Chantal is a lawyer, and she opens up her briefcase and she's like a defendant for some her clients that have committed a murder. She brings out her briefcase. Your Honor, I know that the boats were gone, and then there was footage of boys walking over by the boats, and then the boats were gone, and so were the boys. But there's really no evidence, while she's in court eating noodles, that there's really no evidence that this happened. So, circumstantial. Imagine her bringing a briefcase full of pasta into a courtroom and opening up and eating it. Somehow I could see it. Somehow I can see it. Someone make that TV show, please.
And it's hard to swallow.
Try taking a drink of your seltzer water then. Ooh, pwned, noob.
It's possible, but it's very hard to swallow the fact that all 6 of them disappeared at the same time.
Yeah. You know what's really creepy? All of the people that were on the Titanic disappeared. How could 2,000 people disappear at the same time? That's the really spooky thing. And you know what? There's not really any footage of them all getting onto the Titanic. All we know is that they were by a boat, got in the boat, went out to the middle of a massive body of water, and were never seen again. But you know what's really weird is that they all disappeared at the same time. See, now how could that have happened? What?
It'd be plausible to understand maybe 1 or 2 people go out. You know, one falls over, the other one goes in to save him, he drowns. How do 6 people, it's hard to believe that they all drown at the same time.
Yeah, that's your lack of imagination. Here's a very, very believable hypothetical based on the evidence that you've provided for us. What if 6 drunk kids get into 2 boats, go out in the middle of the night on a very cold lake in very choppy waters? One of them, most likely on the smaller boat, is rocking a bit, starts taking on water, the boat starts capsizing or someone falls off into the water. And have you ever heard the term, don't swim by a drowning man? What most likely happened then is the next boat came over to be like, hey dude, get on, we'll try to help you. And then that dude was panicking trying to get on the boat and caused that boat to capsize. And now there's 6 people in the water. What are you gonna do then? Swim back? You just said earlier that they have hypothermia and they can't swim back. So like, what's crazy about this, you know? Someone should show her the movie Titanic. I bet she'd be blown away.
You know, or they all drowned. If one fell over, you know, another person went to save them. Why wouldn't they try to go on the boat again after? Why would all the other 5 jump in to save him? You know what I mean? So it's just...
Oh my gosh. I mean, I just explained why. I'd like the density, though, to not understand that. Chantal, could you imagine being on a small boat, okay? And being out on choppy water, and then one of your friends is flailing in the water and they're trying to get into your boat, and a drowning person doesn't care, by the way. They're just trying to climb up your boat, and when you're doing that, they're pulling down this side. Like, if you're in a canoe, can someone imagine a calm person trying to swim and get into a canoe from the water, even if there's a friend trying to help them in? That canoe's probably tipping over, okay?
It's just more hard to accept that 6 of them would all drown that night. That some of them wouldn't remain on the boat, or for whatever reason go back on the boat.
Go back on which boat? The ones that are now sunk? Doesn't really solve their problem, does it, when they're underwater? Jeez, yikes. Go back to eating your food, please, Chantal. You don't know what you're talking about. You're so out of your loop here. This isn't creepy. This isn't spooky. This seems pretty, like, open and shut. And your only evidence is the lack of these people that have gone missing. If it's so easy to find them, though, Chantal, why don't you go to Lake Ontario and try looking for them?
Or, you know what I mean? So that's kind of a little bit mysterious as well. Bruce Ricketts, the private investigator working on this case, said there's just so much secrecy involved in this case. And
what is the secrecy? What's the secrecy here? Sounds like we have all the information, really. I like how she brings up this guy's name to like add a little bit of credibility to this too. Well, Bruce Ricketts says, who in the fuck is Bruce Ricketts? And why are you talking about this guy? I don't believe that you're like a super big expert on this either, Chantal. That seems like you just Googled this very quick and just grabbed that guy's name and they're just like quoting him off the first article that you found. Bruce Ricketts. Who cares?
And I hope we do one day know. And I mean, I don't live too far from that area, and I've never heard of this case. It's one of those things that I've seen a lot of people in comments say, I'm from Pickering, and I've never heard of this case. And
see, why can't you do like research on the actual important thing? I don't know. I guess it all fits into the same pattern, though. You do like to kind of throw out information to us, Chantal, that's not really relevant to what's going on. And you like to obfuscate to hide the real thing that's going on with there. So it's just interesting to see that, like, the pattern of your life gets translated into the pattern of your stories as well. By the way, your stories, not a very big fan of. They don't seem like they really go anywhere. We're 19 minutes in, and, I don't know, Chantal. I don't think that we're gonna get any real answers from you that we're looking for. Enjoy your pasta, though. Thanks for watching my video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it, and it always helps with the YouTube algorithm so that I can grow the channel. And also, please follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'll have some links in the description. The Twitter is @YesterVark1. I'm trying to get over 1,000 on both of those. That would be, I don't know, really cool. So I feel like if each person that watches this video did it, I'd easily hit that number. I'd really appreciate if you did it. But if not, that's okay too. I always enjoy when you're just watching my stuff and leaving cool comments. So I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for watching. You have a good one.